Touchy subject at a Virginia school, Kilmer Middle School in Fairfax County. All touching is now taboo. That means no hugging, no shaking hands, no high fives. The controversial rule aimed at keeping a crowded school safe, but does the hands-off approach go a little too far? With us now, Lori Baker. She is president of the Kilmer Middle School PTA. And Cheli, Cerra, she is a school principal and a child success specialist. Welcome to both of you.
Hello.
Hi, John.
Lori, were there problems at school that led to this step?
Well, we had, the rule has been at Kilmer for 15 years. All the middle schools in the county have the same rules. And these rules are just an extension of what our kids have heard ever since preschool, which is keep your hands and feet to yourself. So there's been no problem with the rules. Most parents hear 2 or 3 examples about why we have the rules, and they say, of course, this is middle school. You see the way the kids behave. You see what can happen. We've got one family whose son got in trouble, and now we have an issue about the rule.
But doesn't it apply to things like high fives, that kind of thing? It seems a little draconian.
Taken out of context, it does seem draconian, but when you see what happens in school, you understand it. Shaking hands. I was chaperoning some boys the other day. Really nice boys, friends of my son. I like them. Smart, kind boys. I was talking to one boy, his best friend walks up. They're shaking hands. The next thing, they're in this arm-twisting wrestling game, and one of them's on the concrete. Now, both of these boys are over 6'2". They're 14. Imagine this happening in a crowded school, in the middle school, in the hallway. We have kids that look like they're 9 or 10 or 11 years old. They're small. They haven't grown yet. One of those kids gets hit by a flying elbow or a foot, and they've got a bloody nose, or their papers are all over the floor.
Cheli, I'm sure you're chomping at the bit to get in here. What's wrong with trying to keep everybody safe?
Well, here's the thing. If we go down to the lowest common denominator and try and make rules that really impact all of the students, you need to target those kids that are fighting and that are acting inappropriately. One of the things that we really need to be teaching in schools today is life skills. Emotional and social interaction with students is very important, because it really deals with how we're going to help them interact as they get into the world of work.
So you think that by banning this kind of touching, by preventing handshakes or high fives or whatever, these kids aren't learning some of the skills they're going to need down the road?
Absolutely. Life skills are so important, especially today in the global world that we live in. Dealing with other people's cultures and etiquette, manners, shaking hands is something that should be part of the school curriculum, just part of manners.
Lori, can it be said that, even that wrestling match that exploded when a couple of kids shook hands, that's sort of training for what happens later on in life?
Well, we have plenty of education in our county curriculum about appropriate behavior, conflict resolution, and peer mediation, and how to say no to a bully. We have a lot of that, but that doesn't mean that every kid remembers every minute of every day all those lessons. These are kids who are trying to learn to become adults, but a lot of the time they are acting like impulsive kids.
So what happens if somebody accidentally shakes hands?
No problem. 95% of the time, what's happening is a teacher and administrators on the hall, and they say, come on, boys, settle down. You need to get to class. Come on, girls, don't forget your books. Better move along. You only got a minute left. That's how these rules are enforced.
Cheli, you think these kids are missing out on something?
I think that they are, definitely, because I think we need to teach them what's right and what's wrong, what's appropriate, what's inappropriate. And that also means that parents need to get with the school and basically do a school-wide discipline plan so that everybody understands the consequences. And I do have a problem if, it's not being targeted equitably amongst all the students.
Cheli, Cerra, and Lori Baker, thank you both.